Back and we're on the home stretch now, just ready to take it on. We've been telling
With
you
the he.
about the he. He's our guest. He is a he, and he's our guest on Sunrise this morning. So we're just ready to introduce him. Well, if you've heard the name Olumide Adegbolu before, you may be one of those.
Who is that?
But then if
who?
you Olumide Adegbolu, you'll be thinking, who is that?
Who's
but
that?
if you hear the music that went truly international to the point where in 2008 I was in London and I was watching Colin Powell, a former aspirant to the White House, dancing away like there's no
With
tomorrow.
abandon.
With reckless abandon, actually.
abandon.
And he was singing Yahooze, and everybody was like, oh my gosh. But the person we have in the studio this morning is Olumentane himself. Good morning and welcome.
Morning, so happy to be here.
Looking very cool, I might say.
And with a big smile on his face when
Yes.
he came in with
Like
the swagger, as
he
they
licked
say.
the cream.
How do you feel about your swagger?
I'm just myself. You know?
Yeah.
I don't try too hard. I let it flow seamlessly
It comes naturally.
by His grace. Yes.
Okay, well, by His grace. Let's look at your career. You started with a group of people.
Yeah.
Who are the people, and how does it feel to be out of that group?
Well, first thing is, there's more pressure on you because, you carry all the success and all the failures. It all rests on your shoulder. So there is
Whereas
no
it used to be shared.
exactly. So there is no cushion. So so that's for one thing. That's
So you can't blame Bamo for anything you do. You can't blame Tolu now. No such thing.
Exactly. So everything, so your flaws, your heights and lows, everything all rests on you.
Okay.
So you suffer the consequences of wrong decisions you make, and as humans, that's inevitable. But it's been okay because music for me has always been something I perceived as a calling. I've never been one person that saw or took music as a means to an end. So when you're doing something you're passionate about, and if it now happens to come with some form of financial rewards, that's a bonus.
So how did you get into music then?
Good question. When I was growing up, I noticed that I was never going to be too tall. And yes, and that was a slight concern. So for me, I'm like, okay.
So you can't play basketball?
No, I can't play basketball. So I was never going to be a sportsman. So I'm like, okay, but I have to make a mark in this world. So what is it that I have? So I discovered that I had the ability to mimic voices. 10, 20, 15 years ago, I could mimic your voice exactly and replicate presenting this program, and I would sound almost exactly like you. No lie. So in 89, there was a scene that happened when I was in secondary school. We had a school teacher then, so he used to miss classes. So there was this particular class he missed. So I stood in front of the class and I was mimicking his voice, unknown to us that he was watching. So afterwards, and he was a very strict teacher. So I thought that was it for me. So he took me to the school principal and this young man has a unique talent, because I stood and I watched him mimic me for over 10 minutes. So they wanted to initiate me into the press club. The press club then was the most celebrated club in school. Where you had to be like an athlete, or you had to be something remarkable. You had to have a remarkable talent to be a member of the press club. So my project was to mimic the school principal.
Trouble.
Do you understand what I'm saying? In front of the
Chalice.
entire school. And she was from the Philippines. So you can imagine how challenging this was. So that was my project. I did it, and I killed it. So my celebrity actually started from 1989.
That was your claim to fame.
That was my claim to fame because so all in school I was so cool. I was this tall. I was this small boy. I was so that evolved into me now wanting to mimic people's songs like Bobby Brown, MC Hammer back in those days. So which later evolved into me wanting to write my songs, which evolved into me wanting to perform the songs I write, which evolved into me wanting to record my songs, which evolved into me.
No.
Okay.
If you discovered this and you were going to mimic and you knew that you were going to sing, why did you go and study accountancy?
Well, I had natural wits for numbers.
As well.
Exactly. I'm very, very good with numbers. I wouldn't say I was a brilliant student, but I would say I was a very intelligent one. There's a huge difference between brilliance and intelligence. Intelligence for me I think it was passed on from my dad, because he's a medical doctor, and aside from the fact that he's a medical doctor, my dad could pass as an engineer or in any field he decided to venture into. He was just naturally a very intelligent man, and I got that from him at a very early age. So I could pretty much set out to do anything I decided to do if I wanted to work myself towards doing it. So for me, picking up accounting was like, it was something that wasn't difficult. I didn't have to struggle to do it, so I could combine it with music, and it wasn't even that much of a difficulty.
No stress.
No stress at all. So I mean, like in '97, I got admission to Polybattle, and my cousin Tolu Maintain, he was in UI, so was staying in the same boys' quarters and everything. So my interest and knack for recording music rubbed off on him. So he started going with me to the studio and everything, and I was like, you know what? But then, I mean, things were very difficult, so we had one brown trouser that we wear Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So we wear it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, wash it Wednesday night, iron dry it, and wear it Thursday and Friday. So I'm like, we are really maintaining this trouser. So I looked at it and I'm like, that's it. That should be our name. Maintain. Do you get what I'm saying? And so, because of how we came about the name, it reflected a lot in the kind of music, in the kind of genre of music we produced back in those days. Because Maintain was one group that was known for a lot of humor, and we tried to.
I mean, that was a story that you all told and that had people in stitches all through.
Right. That was 13 years ago, because that was year 2000.
Oh.
That was, as a matter of fact, our third single. Yeah, our first single was in 1998, Damitilla. Second single was Omoto Yosi. Then the third one was Number One.
And that was the one that took you there.
Yes, that was what gave us our national fame. That was the genesis of us actually making a living off of music.
You could buy your Volkswagen.
I would buy a Volkswagen, yes. Because I mean, the entertainment industry, then is nothing compared to what it is now.
So what was the last music that the three of you as a group?
Looking for a wife in 2004.
Did you find one?
Not yet, I'm still.
Now, when you did Yahooze, didn't it cross your mind that maybe people would think that you were involved in that kind of business?
Well, the creativity behind the song Yahooze was very calculative. When you have a song that has a dance that is synonymous to it, it's a win-win situation. Because before Yahooze, there was Makossa. I didn't know what Makossa meant. Nobody even knows who named the dance Makossa. So, early 2006, midway into 2006, I'm like, there's a dance that people are calling Yahooze for whatever reason. Nobody has a song that is tied to this dance. As an artist, as an accountant, with some level of intelligence, I should be at the right place at the right time. Why don't I sing a song tied to this dance? And up till date, a lot of people even give me credit for creating the dance. Because my song is the biggest song
associated with
the dance. But the backlash was the tag of the dance also had other
connotations.
But, well, in everything you do in life, it has its heights and its lows. But when I now did my music video for the song, I did my best to interpret how I visualized what the entire motive towards the title of the song, the dance of the song, and towards what it stood for. Because in the music video, you saw an artist walking on the streets of Lagos, getting a call from the biggest record label in the country, signing a $1 million contract, transforming his life by virtue of doing what he knows how to do best, which is music. And that was a clear statement that I tried to put across. To make it clear what the Olu Maintains version stood for.
Okay, now let me just put you on notice. When we sign off, you're going to sing us out.
Okay.
So you can start thinking about the song you're going to sing us out
I know the song.
with.
I know the song. I'm going to hypnotize you.
Okay, all right. I'm ready. Ready.
Okay.
Now, in the meantime, what do you think about the Nigerian music scene?
Well, two things. A lot of growth, very little development.
So almost the same with the
Very
Nigerian
vibrant.
economy.
Growth without development is like building a house with a stack of cards. Yes, you stack it up, but when it gets to a certain level, without a solid foundation, what happens? It crashes. So now we have a lot of saturation in the industry. It's highly saturated, but non-competitive. Now, there is not that much focus on the substance of quality of artists, of materials that are coming from the artists that are out there now. Now, we are somewhat taking, I mean, it's like an illusion now. It's like a temporary high now. Oh yes, everybody sees the D'banjis, the P-Squares, the Two Faces, the Olu Maintains, the Nices of this world doing well, and everybody all of a sudden wants to be a musician. But ask yourself one question: the background foundation of all these people going into music was not for the financial rewards, because as at the time all of them started, there wasn't even any form of financial reward involved in the industry. So they were doing it born out of passion. P-Square could dance.
Isn't it a good thing that you can actually go to a party and from night till the party closes at 4 a.m. All you're listening to is Nigerian boys and girls singing.
Right, good. But ask yourself this question though, that
even in London,
all over the world, like Afro, it's because the genre is now tagged Afro hip hop. Afro hip hop, the acceptance and the cult following it has amongst Nigerians in diaspora, amongst Africans in general, is extremely overwhelming. But you ask yourself this question:
I want you to do the chorus.
In the acceptance, in the euphoria, in the followership that it has, what is the basis of the foundation? I mean, is it rock solid? Is it well structured? Because you see, exactly, because you see, all this would amount to nothing if 5-10 years down the line we ask ourselves and the $1 million question pops up: that what is the basic foundation that all these things rest on? What is it that, are we planting a legacy for half a century to come? Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's a question that I find that is a bit of concern for me as an artist.
So the training and development of people who will be the next generation of fantastic Nigerian musicians is non-existent.
Training and development, because music is not particularly something you can teach, first of all.
But
it's like
people
football.
in other climes learn and they understand the basics.
I know. You see, like, there's a difference between an artist and a musician. You can teach music. Artistry is a gift. So,
Okay.
those are two different.
So-
So
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
music in itself has technicalities,
Yes.
it has laws you must follow, but artistry is a calling. It is not something you can't learn.
Inherent.
It's inherent. It's not, you can't learn how to play football. They can
Okay.
train you to enhance your skills as a footballer.
Make you more technical. Technical.
precisely.
Okay. All
Do you
right.
understand
Thank
what
you
I'm
very
saying?
much.
Yeah.
We'll have to wrap up now, and we're going to have you sing us out in just a minute. But before we go, a number of people are asking because I tweeted Olumenteng is with us, and they're
Okay.
saying, what's your Twitter handle?
Mr. Olumenteng.
Mr. Olumenteng.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm very. This is sometimes my appearance can be so deceiving because I'm like 4 years shy away of 40, and I still look like I'm in my late 20s. So I'm very old school when it comes to Twitter
And all
say
that stuff.
Instagram. It's just a pain sometimes. So sometimes when I even search for me on Twitter,
Okay.
I see like 10 different versions of Lumentane, and I don't even know
Yeah,
which one
there
is
is.
which.
Okay, well, we have to wrap it up. Thank you very much, Olumide Adebolu,
Thank you.
also known as Olumenteng. It's
Yeah.
been great having you on Sunrise this
Thank you very
morning.
much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming, and we'll hope to have you again soon.
Yes, thank you.
So, Alero, we've got to wrap up, and then
Thank you
Olumenteng
very much
will-
for being there this Saturday morning. And that's it for today. We'll bring you a fresh edition next week, He being our strength. We wish you a very happy weekend indeed. My
All
name is
right.
Alera Edu.
And mine is Kaide Akintemi. Have a great weekend. So, over to you, Olumenteng.
Okay. Sherry, Alero, Omo, you're not Pukwa. You hypnotize me with your sexy body, girl. You hypnotize me with your sexy body. You hypnotize me.